Have you ever wondered if a French Bulldog is a pet, or a creature that escaped from a secret experiment between royalty and a mad scientist? They say it snores louder than a grandpa after a barbecue, can't swim, but loves to try, and for some reason that no one understands. It seems to carry the weight of 1,000 secrets in its gaze. Now imagine that with a squished face, radar ears, and a charm that hypnotizes you as if it knows something you don't. What few people tell you is that the French Bulldog is one of the dogs with the most bizarre evolution in history, a genetic mix originating in England. Created by artisans who needed a small dog to live in tiny spaces, and it ended up becoming a symbol of the Parisian elite. That's right, a working-class dog that became the mascot of aristocrats, go figure. But what does this have to do with the fact that it runs in circles out of nowhere, or stares at the wall as if it's seen ghosts? Well, that's where the story gets even stranger. Because behind every dramatic sigh and every silent fart of your French Bulldog, there's a behavior that looks more like a piece of a poorly solved evolutionary puzzle. And that's what we're going to investigate now. Stick with me until the end. Because besides discovering the mysteries behind the strange behavior of the French Bulldog, you'll understand why it acts exactly this way. And in the end, I'll even tell you 15 secret attitudes that only those who live with a Bulldog know. And number 7, 8, and 10 will leave your jaw on the floor. Ready to start. 1. It runs in circles before lying down, as if it were invoking a secret canine ritual. You know that moment when the French Bulldog starts spinning around before finally lying down with a sigh worthy of a Mexican telenovela? Well, it looks like a ritualistic dance, almost hypnotic. But behind the scene that borders on the comical, there's an ancestral explanation and a touch of mystery. This behavior has roots in the times when dogs were still wild and needed to flatten tall grass before sleeping. Yes, even if your Bulldog is lying on a Louis Vuitton canine pillow, the instinct to prepare the ground remains imprinted in its genetic code. Circling before lying down helped the ancestors of dogs level the ground, scare away insects, and ensure they were in a safe space. But in the case of the French Bulldog, things go a little further. Some experts believe it also does this for psychological comfort, as it's a breed with a tendency towards mild anxiety, mainly because it's extremely attached to its owners. The act of circling helps create a symbolic comfort zone, a mini-universe where it's the center and everything is under control. And there's one more curious detail. Bulldogs are sensitive to the environment. If the place has strange smells, noises, or even a somewhat charged energy, yes, witty owners swear they perceive it. It may circle even more, as if trying to ward off what it doesn't see. It's funny, cute, but also intriguing because, deep down, when the French Bulldog circles, it's not just settling down, it's saying, this is my territory, here I am king, or at least, emperor of a cushion. And if that seems strange to you, just wait until you see what comes next. 2. It stares at the wall for long minutes, as if it were seeing something you can't. You walk into the room, there it is, standing, completely still, staring at the wall as if it's about to decipher a secret code. No sound, no movement, just eyes fixed on an invisible point. Scary? Maybe. Cute? Definitely not normal? Not so much. This behavior is more common than you might think among French Bulldogs. And yes, it may seem like it's having a telepathic conversation with the beyond, or that it saw something you didn't, but calm down before calling a medium. Take a deep breath. There are real and surprising explanations for this. One of them is boredom. French Bulldogs are extremely attached to the human environment. They can't stand being bored, and when that happens, their brain goes into standby mode. It's as if for a few moments it freezes the body, but the brain is wandering around, maybe remembering when you didn't give that treat last night. Another factor is auditory hypersensitivity. Believe it or not, even with their big ears and a face that looks like they're not paying attention to anything, the French Bulldog can pick up very high-frequency sounds like electrical hums, vibrations and pipes, or noises coming from outside the house. When it stops and fixes its gaze on the wall, it might be trying to understand where that sound that only it perceives is coming from. And then there's the more esoteric hypothesis, which we'll just leave hanging in the air just to plant a seed of doubt. Some say that Bulldogs have a very strong, almost spiritual intuition, and that this behavior is a type of warning, like, owner, there's something here you're not seeing, but I'm keeping an eye on it. Whether it's true or not, only your Bulldog knows, and it won't tell you. Now, hold on tight, because the next behavior is even stranger and borders on the bizarre. 3. It releases gases in epic volumes and acts like it wasn't them. You're watching a movie. Everyone's quiet, perfect atmosphere, and suddenly, puff, a discreet sound, but damage. Nuclear. You look to the side, and there it is, your French Bulldog, sprawled out, with the most innocent face in the world. As if to say, what? Are you accusing me for no reason? But, my friend, by this point, even the plants in the room have fainted. The French Bulldog is one of the most flatulent dogs on the canine planet, and that's no exaggeration. This strange and sometimes socially traumatic behavior has a scientific and genetic explanation. It all starts with its snout. Bulldogs are brachycephalic. That is, they have a flattened snout. This makes them swallow much more air than other breeds while eating or even while breathing. The result? A real gas balloon forms inside their small and cute digestive system. But it doesn't stop there. Bulldogs also have a sluggish intestine. Their metabolism is slower, and their digestive tract is less efficient for certain types of food, especially those rich in fiber, grains, or fat. Translating, even a premium kibble can turn into a silent bomb in their system. Now, the most curious thing is the post-bomb behavior. Unlike other dogs that get scared or react to their own creation, the bulldog simply ignores it. It's as if it knows it was them, but chooses to protect itself under the guise of indifference. Some say it's charm. Others think it's pure mockery, and you thought the dog just made a cute face. But don't go anywhere, because the next strange behavior involves a secret skill that not every owner notices right away. And it can surprise even the most experienced ones, for it snores like a tractor. Even when awake, it's the middle of the night. Absolute silence, and suddenly, 1, 2, 3 very loud snores. You think, okay, it's sleepy. But when you turn around, it's looking at you, awake, with its eyes wide open, and still snoring. Yes, it sounds like something out of a comical horror movie. But if you have a French Bulldog, you've probably gotten used to this life soundtrack. In Dolby Surround, the question is, why on earth does it snore even when it's awake? The answer lies once again in the unique anatomy of this breed. As we've already mentioned, Bulldogs are brachycephalic, and this means their airways are shorter and compressed internally. The nose, throat, and soft palate have a configuration that makes it difficult for air to pass through. It's as if every breath is an engineering challenge. And so, every inhale becomes a sound. Every exhale, a symphony. Now, here's the bizarre detail: conscious snoring even when awake. The French Bulldog can make guttural sounds due to the partial collapse of its nostrils and the flaccidity of the throat tissues. It's as if its body is in snooze mode all the time, even when it's alert. The result: you get a pet that lives in asthmatic parakeet with a megaphone mode. And this has implications. For example, constant snoring can indicate that your little dog is suffering more than it seems, especially on hot days or when it's stressed. It's important to observe the intensity and frequency. But let's be honest, sometimes it seems like it does it on purpose, just so you think everything is fine. And then, pow, comes that snore that even makes the neighbor bang on the wall. Just don't blame your partner for the symphony, okay? Now, take a deep breath if you can, because behavior number 5 involves something even stranger. It might leave you wondering, does my dog imitate me on purpose? 5. It copies your habits, even the most embarrassing ones. You yawn. It yawns. You stretch. It does. Do you spend the day lying down with your face buried in the sofa? It becomes a clone. But the strangest thing is when it starts to imitate what you never wanted anyone to copy. Like that habit of staring into space for minutes, as if you're thinking all of life's decisions, or when you forget something and go back to the same place 3 times and it goes with you, all 3 times. But is this real, or does it just seem that way? Well, studies on canine cognition have already shown that French Bulldogs are among the breed's most sensitive to human behavior. Despite their grumpy-looking face and bad ears, this little dog pays more attention to you than many people do. They are emotionally spongy. They absorb not only your mood, but also your daily rituals. If you wake up and have coffee in the same place, it learns to go with you. If you get nervous about something, it acts as if it has also been fired. If you roll on the floor laughing, it tries to roll too. Literally. And yes, there are records of bulldogs that have learned to pretend they are limping just because their owners had a hurt leg. Coincidence? Maybe. But it's bizarre and a little cute too. Or is it all part of a secret plan to become you? After all, who has never thought, this dog is copying me? It has to be, but it doesn't. Stop here. Behavior number 6 involves something that goes beyond imitation. In fact, it involves a dark and mysterious habit that always starts in the same room of the house. Spoiler alert, it's not the kitchen. 6. It makes sounds that no dog should make. You're lying on the sofa, total silence. Suddenly, you hear something between a snore, a grunt, and a sound of a coffee maker about to explode. You freeze, look around. There's no one in the house. Just it. The French Bulldog, sleeping. But sleeping as if possessed by an old speedboat engine, an asthmatic piglet, and a horror movie voice actor, all at the same time. Yes. The 6th strange behavior of this pet is something that doesn't go unnoticed. The bizarre sounds it makes all the time. It snores loudly even when awake. It grumbles while walking. It makes demonic choking noises just for going up one step. And sometimes, just sometimes, it makes a sound so strange that you stop everything and think, is it turning into a human? But calm down, there's an explanation for everything. The French Bulldog is a brachycephalic breed, meaning it has a flattened snout and compressed airways. This makes the simple act of breathing seem like an epic battle against its own anatomy. Narrow nostrils, short and soft palate, smaller trachea. The result, a 24-hour sound concert. And the most curious thing is that they don't seem bothered. In fact, some bulldogs even seem to enjoy their own symphony. It's as if every snore is a look how unique I am. But then comes the mysterious point. Why do these sounds change frequency depending on the environment, the presence of people, or even certain objects? Theories, several. Certainties, none. But get ready, because the next behavior, number 7, is about the almost kleptomaniac side of the French Bulldog. It is a habit of taking something of yours and never giving it back. And the reason, that's more psychological than you might imagine. 7, it steals your things, and no one knows how or why. You put your bag on the table, turn your back for a second, and when you look again, there it is, that French Bulldog, looking with the most innocent eyes in the world, as if it were an angel. But what is it holding in its paws? Your keys, your sock, your cell phone charger, or even worse, that pair of glasses you just left on the table. Now, this might even seem normal for some dogs, but the French Bulldog takes it to a whole different level. It not only steals your things, but it never gives them back. And no, there's no exact scientific explanation for this behavior, but there are some interesting theories. First theory, it's testing the limit. French Bulldogs are known for being extremely intelligent and somewhat dominant. They know that if they are quick and sneaky, they can get what they want. It's like a game of hide and seek, but where it's the only one who knows the rules. Second theory, the security of the stolen object. Here's the most intriguing part. These dogs have a tendency to pick up items that have no value to them but have emotional or symbolic value to you. The socks, it doesn't want to wear them. The cell phone charger, it has no interest in charging a phone, but these objects are yours, and somehow it wants to appropriate what is yours, as if it were creating a deeper bond with you. And of course, the third theory is the simplest. Bulldogs are just mischievous, and they know that stealing your things will make you laugh, or at least worry enough to engage with them. A piece of paper, a ball, a toy, or even your shoe. For the French Bulldog, anything serves to create a social connection. It will act as if it were the master of a small collection of trophies, and what matters is the attention. But what comes next is even more curious. Behavior number 8 involves a strange obsession with a single place in the house, where it simply never leaves. And the reason for this is a little more supernatural than you might imagine. 8. It is an obsession with a single place in the house. Have you ever noticed that, at times? Your French Bulldog seems completely hypnotized by a specific spot in the house. It could be the corner of the sofa, the living room rug, or even that bland piece of wall next to the window. But it's not just a simple preference. It spends hours there, without moving, just staring fixedly at that place. It may seem strange, even funny, but the reason for this is more complex than it appears. These dogs, with their peculiar temperament and sharp intelligence, possess a sensitivity that makes them fixate on objects, sounds, or even places that we humans don't even imagine. The scientific explanation for this behavior is linked to their keen senses, especially hearing and smell. The French Bulldog may be hearing something very low that you can't perceive, a draft, a small insect moving, or even a vibration in the wall. It feels the presence of something but can't identify what it is, and therefore, it stays there, hypnotized, trying to understand what is happening. However, there is also a more mystical hypothesis, which many Bulldog owners have difficulty admitting. What if it was just sensing something supernatural? Yes. The idea that dogs possess an intuition for things beyond our perception has been discussed by many. You might even scoff at it, but would it really be so strange if it was just feeling something you can't see? Some owners have reported cases where the dog's obsessive behavior coincides with moments of great emotional tension in the house, such as fights, farewells, or even changes in the environment. The French Bulldog, with its keen instinct, could be reacting to a strange energy in the environment, whether by science or by mystery. The fact is that this behavior is typical of this breed, and frankly, it's impossible to know if it's just trying to figure something out, or if it's actually looking for something that is beyond our understanding. Now, get ready, because the next behavior will take things to a much stranger side. Number 9 involves a peculiar obsession with certain objects and an almost obsessive behavior, and you'll never guess what it does with them. 9, it has an obsession with specific objects and disappears with them. You put a toy in the room, it's nothing special, a simple rubber bone, maybe a teddy bear. But suddenly, the French Bulldog starts looking at this toy in a completely different way, and when you turn your back, poof, the toy disappears. It steals the toy and takes it to a corner of the house where you can barely reach it. Now, this might even seem like a common trait for some dogs, but the French Bulldog takes this obsession to a new level. The issue isn't simply grabbing a toy and playing. No, it hides its toys with an astuteness that doesn't always seem to come from a dog. But the behavior goes beyond a simple stealing impulse. This behavior is often linked to a psychological need for possession and control. It chooses the object so carefully, and by hiding it, it creates an emotional bond with that item. It's not just about toys, but even your personal belongings, a pair of socks, a small water bottle, or even the tip of an old sneaker. Some owners notice that the French Bulldog goes even further, storing the items in unusual places, such as inside boxes, under the sofa, or somewhere you would never imagine it could reach. It seems to understand the importance of the hiding place, as if it were creating a secret space just for itself. The explanation for this is quite fascinating. The French Bulldog, with its dominant personality, has a strong need to mark territory, and by taking your objects and hiding them, it is in a way saying, these items are mine and no one else can have access to them. This aligns with its nature of wanting to control the environment around it. However, the most mysterious thing is that it never loses track of what it hides. You can search all day, but the French Bulldog will always know where the item is. It's as if it has a mental map of its secret hiding places. It's as if it's planning its actions and always maintaining a strategic advantage. And now, get ready, because the final behavior, number 10, is without a doubt the most extraordinary and mysterious of all. It will make you rethink the way you see your French Bulldog and the relationship of trust between you. 10. It seems to predict the future, or at least make you believe it does. Have you ever noticed how your French Bulldog suddenly seems to behave? With strange accuracy, it knows when it's time to eat even before you prepare the meal. It knows when you're about to leave, even if you haven't made any noise. Or, even more curiously, it knows when something important is about to happen. Now, you might be thinking, that's just a coincidence, right? But if you pay attention, you'll see that it's as if the French Bulldog has a sixth sense. It seems to predict moments or situations with such impressive accuracy that it becomes disconcerting. The explanation may be simpler than it seems. Sharp intelligence and constant observation. French Bulldogs are extremely attentive dogs to human behavior. They notice patterns, such as when you get up to go to the kitchen or when you grab your keys to leave. They also pick up on your emotions almost telepathically, and that's enough for the Bulldog to anticipate what's about to happen. For example, it may sense that you are emotionally tense. Before you decide to go to an important appointment, it feels that the change in your energy is a sign that something is about to happen. So, it prepares for your reaction, but there's a point that still intrigues French Bulldog owners. Some stories report that dogs of this breed can identify unexpected situations with a level of precision that goes beyond simple instinct or intuition. Is there really something extraordinary about their behavior? Or does canine psychology really allow them to see patterns that we humans would never notice? But the real question is, what else might your French Bulldog be trying to understand? Does it have some special perception, something that escapes us? The answer may lie simply in the emotional intelligence of these mysterious and imperturbable dogs. Or perhaps, what it is trying to teach us is something deeper about our own nature. And so, the big question hangs in the air. Are French Bulldogs more than just simple pets? Do they, on some level, know more about us than we can imagine? So, the next time your French Bulldog does something inexplicable, perhaps it's time to reflect. It's trying to communicate something that goes beyond the simple coexistence between pet and guardian. Or perhaps, it just has a unique way of understanding the world in its own way. Now, tell me, have you ever noticed any of these strange behaviors in your French Bulldog? Or does it have even more mysterious behaviors? Leave your theory in the comments below, because your pet's story might be even more fascinating than you imagine. And of course, if you like this video and want more investigations into the mysteries of dogs, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. See you in the next episode. Which breed do you want us to investigate in the next episode? Tell me, does your Bulldog have any of these behaviors? Or have you discovered something new about it?